The Obamas have endorsed VP Kamala Harris for President of the United States. Here it is.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi, you're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. Michelle, Brock, this means so much to me. I am looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
Can I remind everyone, that's how human beings sound when they talk? This is heart. This is decency. The right cannot produce a moment like that where it is a reminder of the best of our humanity, regardless of your political ideology. That was a heartfelt conversation. That was something injected into the political mainstream that has not been here for a minute. And it's called heart, decency, respect, friendship, courtesy. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Let's put it up. Hell of a thing. Trump vans. They mad as hell. They don't know what to do. Okay. So meanwhile, Wednesday night in a statement emailed to Mediaite, the Trump campaign backed out of any debates, citing a variety of impediments. Quote, given the continued political chaos surrounding the crooked Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, general election debate details cannot be finalized until Democrats formally decide on their nominee. There is a strong sense by many in the Democratic Party, namely Barack Hussein Obama, that Kamala Harris is a Marxist fraud who cannot beat President Trump, and they're still holding out for someone better. Therefore, it would be inappropriate to schedule things with Harris because Democrats very well could change their minds. Him scared.
Now what?
So now that you have on speakerphone, both of them, I won't give you one Obama, we're gonna give you two. So the reality is this, the Democratic Party, the president of the United States currently, Joe Biden, took a debate with Donald Trump before Donald Trump was the official nominee of the Republican Party. But all of a sudden, the heir apparent nominee of the Democratic Party, the de facto nominee of the Democratic Party, can't get an opportunity to get up on that stage, and they cite rule and regulation. I'm just following the rules here, fellas. All right, there's more. Harris would respond to the announcement. What happened to any time, any place, bruh? I put the bruh on the end of it because that was in the spirit mind when she said it. Also yesterday, here's the political part of stuff. Netanyahu and Harris. So Harris did finally meet with Netanyahu after she decided not to attend his speech to Congress. Many Democrats protested and gave a speech. He gave a speech in relation to that meeting. So the first appeal was the support of Israel. Here it is.
I told him that I will always ensure that Israel is able to defend itself, including from Iran and Iran-backed militias such as Hamas and Hezbollah. From when I was a young girl, collecting funds to plant trees for Israel, to my time in the United States Senate and now at the White House, I have had an unwavering commitment to the existence of the State of Israel, to its security, and to the people of Israel. I've said it many times, but it bears repeating. Israel has a right to defend itself, and how it does so matters. Hamas is a brutal terrorist organization. On October 7, Hamas triggered this war when it massacred 1,200 innocent people, including 44 Americans. Hamas has committed horrific acts of sexual violence and took 250 hostages.
Now you're going to see the pivot, a distinction she is making that Biden could not quite land. Here it is.
I also expressed with the Prime Minister my serious concern about the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians. And I made clear my serious concern about the dire humanitarian situation there, with over 2 million people facing high levels of food insecurity, and 500,000 people facing catastrophic levels of acute food insecurity. What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. The images of dead children and desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety, sometimes displaced for the second, third, or fourth time. We cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent.
The Vice President of the United States then decided to lay out a ceasefire agreement on the table. Here it is.
There is a deal on the table for a ceasefire and a hostage deal. And it is important that we recall what the deal involves. The first phase of the deal would bring about a full ceasefire, including a withdrawal of the Israeli military from population centers in Gaza. In the second phase, the Israeli military would withdraw from Gaza entirely, and it would lead to a permanent end to the hostilities. It is time for this war to end, and end in a way where Israel is secure, all the hostages are released, the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can exercise their right to freedom, dignity, and self-determination.
I want to remind everyone that Netanyahu had a very different message to Congress, where he criticized protesters, said they were not familiar with the region, called them useful idiots, etc., to those who are standing up for a ceasefire and humanitarian rights. VP Harris had this to say.
So to everyone who has been calling for a ceasefire, and to everyone who yearns for peace, I see you and I hear you. Let's get the deal done so we can get a ceasefire to end the war. Let's bring the hostages home, and let's provide much needed relief to the Palestinian people. And ultimately, I remain committed to a path forward that can lead to a two-state solution. And I know right now it is hard to conceive of that prospect, but a two-state solution is the only path that ensures Israel remains a secure, Jewish, and democratic state, and one that ensures Palestinians can finally realize the freedom, security, and prosperity that they rightly deserve.
The tone is completely different. It provides the context for what her policy will be. A lot of times a president may not be able to pass a law, but when they set a tone, it creates the atmosphere required for the effective communication and hopefully solution to take place. Jackson, politically well played, in my opinion, how this was done. She kept the base on her side by basically snubbing Netanyahu, still was able to basically mandate that they take a picture together so that she doesn't alienate some of the more pro-Jewish faction within the party. And then she provides a proper contextualization of her support for Israelis' independence and right to defend themselves, but not right to defend themselves by any means necessary through killing and genocide. What say you?
Yeah, I think she addressed this as well as she possibly could have. And I think that we deserve to give ourselves the opportunity to give her a chance. one, she was able to distinguish herself from Biden. And two, now that we know the state that Biden was in, I think it's clear that Kamala is able to actually fight back because the public sentiment is so clear that we want peace for Palestinians.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly, we understand that. I think at this point, this race is Kamala's to lose. I think the momentum is completely shifted. I don't see Trump getting much of a boost at all. And that's mostly because the RNC is over. He didn't get a jump from the assassination attempt. And two things, most importantly. One is this race, especially because there's only 4 months left, is not really about Kamala. It's more about what she represents. It's about moving forward towards the future. It's about hope. And two, the Republican apparatus is completely unprepared to deal with this shift. It's really incompetent because she's the vice president, so they should have a plan for that just in case. But whether you have J.D. Vance being incredibly unpopular in all of his rhetoric and his stances, and then just the general, Kamala's a DEI hire, she didn't earn her way. Think about how that's going to ricochet through people's households. The endorsements, everything is really piling up. All the money she's raising, the small dollar donors, the people signing up to campaign for her. Again, if she just shows up and does what she needs to do and no more, I think that she's got it.
We shall see, dear brother. All right, we'll bring you updates as they come.